This is bullshit. Delicious bullshit. But that right there, there's a lot to unpack here. What's up, everyone? Chef Jean-Paul here, back with another reaction video to no other than Joshua Weissman, the perfect gumbo at home. Well, I'll be the judge of that. But honestly, the dude is a monster on YouTube, 10.2 billion subscribers. Let's get into it. Joshua Weissman's perfect gumbo at home with Creole butter.
Okay, so today we're making gumbo. Now, there are many different varieties of a gumbo, so I already know people are gonna be in the comments saying something, Josh, you can't do this, Josh, you can't do that, what the hell, brother? This isn't Cajun, this isn't real hip. I get it, and I know.
He ain't wrong. Whole bunch of recipes. As different as people are in Louisiana, so are their gumbo recipes. So he's already setting himself up knowing that he's going to strike some nerves with some folks, which is probably smart.
We're using filet in place of okra because okra is disgusting. The texture of it is something like if you're eating and then someone sneezed into your open mouth. Is that what you want? I know.
All right. I mean, look, I get how okra can be unappealing, but let's just not, poo-poo all over the okra. First of all, if you know how to cook okra correctly, if you know how to add it to your gumbo correctly, it's not slimy. And it's actually the perfect thickener without being slimy. But that's for another conversation for another day. Now, Josh is using filet powder, which sassafras powder is, I believe, is what that really is. I'm not a big fan of the flavor of filet powder. It's a little too herbaceous or herbal for me. It's adding too much makes it taste too timey. I don't find it thickens very well. And overall, I just didn't grow up eating filet powder. And so I don't use it in my gumbos, but let's keep going.
I already know people are gonna say, Josh, don't mix land and sea. You can't do that, it'll mask the seafood flavor. And while that is true in most scenarios, the thing that I like about this is it starts with a strong seafood base with an excessive amount of seafood that definitely balances it out quite nicely. Guess what? No one's gonna get hurt and it's gonna taste mighty fine as it is. So with all that said, let's make this.
Now, I agree with Josh here, is that I think sausage and seafood gumbos go great together. Typically, chicken or wild game and sausage, you'll see classically done for like a Cajun style gumbo. I noticed Josh does use a lot of kind of high value ingredients in his cooking. Not sure if that's to make it look more appealing. Use what you have around you. If king crab is what you have readily available, salmon, ruby red shrimps, or rock shrimp, use that. Use the oysters that are from your area. Use the sausage that's from your area. And make that gumbo taste like it should be from that place. But still tasting like Louisiana, of course. But using those fresh ingredients. Is really, that's what matters. You want to use those fresh ingredients. So maybe that's just what he's doing here.
You can't have a great gumbo without a stock. That's right, we're doing a beefy shellfish stock. First, prep your mirepoix, which is
a great stock is key to a great gumbo. I've never seen a beef and shellfish stock used for a seafood gumbo. But really, it's if you got great stock in the freezer, whether that be shellfish or chicken or beef, go ahead and use it. A great homemade stock is better than just a fine stock out of the grocery store aisle, or dare I say a bouillon cube. But again, I've had great gumbos made with bouillon cubes, box stock out of the aisle, and just water, right? So let's not get hung up on that, but I do love that he's making his own stock there.
yes, we're gonna add that shrimp too. Next, break down 3 clusters of snow crab, reserve the meat for the final gumbo, and place the shells with the rest of your stock ingredients. Now,
look, this is a luxurious gumbo already. He's not even made anything yet, and this is a luxurious great gumbo. You don't need to use all those ingredients, but I mean, I guess if you were going to charge $30, $40 for a bowl of gumbo, this is what Josh is making.
get yourself a big ass pot. Add in just enough oil to coat the bottom, blast it over medium high, and sear off 2 pounds or 900 grams of bone-in short rib and 2 pounds or 900 grams of boneless beef chuck roast. Sear those bad boys on all sides for 2 to 3 minutes each, or until you get some lovely Maillard reaction.
The Maillard reaction is the reaction that happens when you brown any sort of meat, and that crustiness, that caramelization that happens around that meat. That's what's adding a lot of extra flavor when you add, whether that's a hamburger or a cheeseburger or making a stock like that, you're looking for that Maillard reaction to add extra flavor.
Right, before we make our gumbo, I have a dangerous subject to jump into. Cajun spice. Now, brother, I know we love our Tony Chacheries or whatever the hell your favorite brand is. But
not a big fan of the accents thrown around here. Feels more like Texas or Oklahoma or like North Mississippi. He's going into Cajun spice. He's right, a highly debated subject. Not sure why he needs this for gumbo, but let's see what he wants to do with it.
Now, strap yourself in because it's a long list. In a medium bowl, add 1.5 tablespoons or 6 grams of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons or 17 grams of cayenne powder, 2 tablespoons or 12 grams of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of onion powder, 1 tablespoon or 6 grams of fresh ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons or 2 grams of dried thyme. I like to lightly crush it with my fingers and make it finer and bring out some more of its flavor. 1 tablespoon or 2 grams of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of, guess what, buddy? It's in tons of store-bought Cajun.
I love it. I throw no flags on MSG. It does add a lot to different recipes when added, but I'm curious how he's going to incorporate all this.
It's in tons of store-bought Cajun seasonings, and it's freaking delicious, brother. 1.5 tablespoons or 11 grams of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons or...
Why does he keep calling everybody brother? It's delicious, brother. Like, is that like a redneck Hulk Hogan? It's delicious, brother. I don't know. We're going to have to talk. He and I are going to have to talk about this.
6 grams of ground white pepper, and 1 tablespoon or 13 grams of dark brown sugar. Whew, that was a doozy. Now, give this some whiskey business until thoroughly combined, and you have a Cajun spice I'm not afraid to put in front of any of my Cajun bon ami. All right, it is time. We begin with the ultra important dark roux. In a large stock pot that's at least 10 quarts, add an...
All right, so really quick. If you're going to make a roux, don't make it in a stock pot like this. I've made a roux maybe hundreds of thousands of times, and I have a feeling I know what's going to happen here. Let's check it out.
Half a cup or 90 grams of duck fat, and half a cup or 90 grams of lard or bacon fat.
Love it. Duck fat, bacon fat, lard, all great fats to use for a roux. So much better than canola oil or vegetable oil. Highly recommend animal fats in this case. He's doing it right for the fat section.
Bacon fat. Heat that over medium heat. Once that's melted, add in 1 cup or 150 grams of all-purpose flour. Begin mixing that together until thoroughly incorporated. Then you pretty much have your roux. Now all you have to do is let that bad boy cook, stirring relatively.
That right there is why you do not use a tall pot, because that spoon, when you're reaching down into that pot and you have to stir consistently like that, you have to put your hand in that pot. Now, in Louisiana, we call roux Cajun napalm, because when it hits your skin, it continues to burn you. If you use a larger surface area bottom pot with a shorter side, your hand is a little bit more protected from that splatter, because you're going to stir consistently. Another thing I'm noticing right now, that spoon he's stirring with, it's rounded in the tip. Please use a flat tip wooden spatula, right? He did it right with taking that whisk and incorporating that flour into that oil so there's no lumps. But when you make that switch, that transition into a spoon stir, you want to find something with a flat edge. We call that a roux paddle or a roux spoon, and we specifically have those to stir roux, so you get more scrapage on the bottom. You can see as he rotates that spoon around that pan, you're just getting a little sliver. You want to get a nice wide ribbon of kind of stir on the bottom of that pot. And you're going to only get that with a flat tipped wooden spoon or a roux spatula.
So don't rush it, take it nice and slow to achieve a proper color without burning. Once it's ready, you can now add what's called the Creole Holy Trinity, which consists of 3 ribs of celery diced, 2 onions diced, and 1 large green bell pepper, you guessed it, diced. Let that saute just until softened, then add 4 cloves of finely chopped garlic, saute till fragrant, then add half a pound or 250 grams of andouille sausage and half a pound or 250 grams.
One little trick that I would suggest is before you add your bell pepper and celery, add your onions first. In other words, don't add them all in the same time into your roux. And the reason why is if you add your onions first and stir it into that roux and give it 5 to 10 minutes of cooking in that roux, those onions will start to caramelize very gently, and then adding just more flavor and a little more sweetness to the final thing. Whereas you add your bell pepper and celery, both in vegetables high in water content, it's going to completely stop that cooking and just sweat your vegetables. either way, it's going to be delicious, most likely, unless you really mess it up. But just adding those onions first, just add an extra little, how do I say, character to your gumbo. Then he moves on to andouille and kielbasa. I've never had kielbasa in a gumbo, but like I said, if you are in an area where kielbasa is prevalent, if you have good butchers that make great kielbasa, go ahead and use it. My thing is, you want that sausage to be smoked. You get that from the andouille. So if you can't find andouille, any type of smoked sausage should do the trick.
Add 2.5 tablespoons or 35 grams of your Cajun spice, stir that in and let those spices toast for 1 minute, then add 3 tablespoons or 41 grams of Louisiana or Crystal hot sauce, 3 1/4 quarts or 3 liters of your stock from earlier, and 1 20-ounce or 750 gram can of crushed fire roasted tomatoes. Now,
there's a lot to unpack here. Deep breath, Jean-Paul. Let's start with the seasoning. In my opinion, if your sausage is good, if your stock is good, you don't need the Cajun seasoning. A great sausage, a great andouille, a great smoked sausage combined with a great roux and great stock, seasoned with salt and pepper, is all you should need. But if you have some lackluster sausage or it's just not popping with that flavor, you may need that seasoning to bring that character, that gumbo, that Cajun flavor out. Then you add the hot sauce. That's going to mostly just vinegar and a little heat. Oh, but then he adds the fire roasted canned tomatoes. And that, my friend, beyond any roux conversation, beyond any okra conversation, it's tomatoes in your gumbo or not. And that's the debate. And I can tell you from a Cajun point of view, you would never put tomatoes in your gumbo. If you do, it's very little in a seafood gumbo. This is by far a Creole style gumbo. But the thing is about making a Creole style gumbo, without okra, it really kind of falls flat on that terminology. Adding tomatoes is a very New Orleans thing to your gumbo. It's a very New Orleans characteristic of gumbo, being red and adding that tomato product. In Cajun Louisiana, you would never add tomato. Josh adds tomato. I hate tomato in my gumbo. There's a lot of things I can compromise with. Tomato, I can't. I just don't think it's necessary. I'm not from New Orleans. I love the city, but that's a New Orleans thing. That's not where I'm from. But look, this is his recipe. He's going to do what he wants. It's not saying it's wrong either. It's just not my style. And if you're really talking about a Cajun gumbo, you would not put tomato in it. He's called this Creole a number of times. He said Creole Trinity. I think he said Creole Spice. I'm not sure, but this is definitely now certified a Creole New Orleans style gumbo.
Bring that to a boil and lower the heat to medium-low and simmer for 1 hour. All right, we're on the home stretch. After 1 hour of simmering,
I just love his little edits. It's funny. It's just not another cooking video. I tend to like his quirkiness and his entertainment factors in these videos.
And very gently simmer that for 15 more minutes, then stir in another 2.5 teaspoons or 3 grams of gumbo filet powder, simmer 5 more minutes, add all of your king crab meat, 3 tablespoons or 45 milliliters of Worcestershire sauce.
Ah! God, that hurts. That hurts my brain. Worcestershire sauce. I could do the tomato, but Worcestershire sauce? I mean, it's just not necessary. This is not a gumbo anymore. This is more like a cioppino. Yeah. This is, I mean, if he's calling it a gumbo because he has a roux in it, then I'm throwing a flag on this. He can call it whatever he wants, I guess, and I'm sure there's I haven't even read the comments. Kind of curious now. He's gotten the technique basically there, but the ingredients, Josh, you're just overcomplicating it, man. You're overcomplicating it. It doesn't need to be this way. It just needs to be a wonderful stock, delicious seafood, a well-made roux, seasoned correctly with salt and pepper, maybe a little hot sauce, maybe a little Cajun spice, but dude, leave the tomatoes, leave the Worcestershire sauce out of it. You have all this beautiful seafood. $100 worth of seafood right here. and he's throwing all this crap in.
It's really unusual, especially if you don't know anything about Louisiana food.
This does not make it any better. I don't care who watches this. Worcestershire sauce will not make it any better than it already is. You had it fine. You had beautiful stock. You have delicious, fresh seafood. What are you doing? I mean, I love Worcestershire sauce, but not in gumbo. And almost not in any Cajun recipe. It doesn't exist outside of like maybe barbecue shrimp and a couple other different odds and ends Louisiana food. Why? No. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on, guys. We need to build this channel, and I am looking forward to continuing to make content for y'all. If you have any suggestions on other videos I should react to, especially if they're from like really popular YouTubers or chefs, send them to me. Let's take a look.
Wow, I got it right that time. Nice. And once that meat is nice and warm in my mouth, you're ready to serve. Now, get yourself a shallow bowl and add in enough gumbo to your heart's content. Add a fat scoop of beautifully, perfectly steamed rice. And yes, oh yes, I washed it. You did too. Right. And finally, a nice little
wrong. I don't think we ever wash our rice in Louisiana. But anyways.
Sprinkle of thinly sliced chives. That is a stunning bowl of gumbo if I ever doggone seen one. But oh,
I still contest that this is more of a bouillabaisse meets cioppino meets gumbo. It's just got too much crap in it, to be honest, to be a gumbo. Got to keep it simple. It's meant to be a simple recipe, not cluttered with all these odds and ends to hide. I don't know. Hide what you're doing wrong? I'm not sure.
But oh wait, what's going into this bowl? Is that a pat of Papa's Cajun MSG butter so good makes your clothes fall off. Yes, if you want to.
I mean, that's funny. Like, I love his edits. I love his cuts. What can I say? I'm a sucker for his edits right now.
Let that chill in the fridge until solid. Slice into medallions and stir into a piping hot bowl of gumbo. Now with or without.
Also called a compound butter. You can do this with a lot of different things. I've never seen this using gumbo, but not a bad move. I mean, why not? He's put everything else underneath the sun in this gumbo. Why not put some butter, some more MSG, some more Cajun spice, some more this, more that? Shoot, man, maybe we should add some like chocolate to it. I don't know. Maybe we add some fennel bulbs just shaved raw over the top. Who knows? Man, let's see what else he's going to put in this gumbo.
With or without MSG, let's taste test this and see how we did on our gumbo.
Woo-wee, brother! It's a goddamn...
Again, with the brother. Like, anyways. I mean, I doubt he's ever been anywhere. If he's been to Louisiana, he's probably only been to New Orleans. And so maybe this is what he thinks we sound like when we eat good gumbo.
That's a goddamn knee slapper. Look at this color. It's like a fine mahogany. I feel like we're at a woodworking shop and I just see a beautiful, just natural mahogany plank.
Well, you put tomatoes and Worcestershire sauce and hot sauce in it. That's going to definitely darken it up. I wouldn't quite claim it's all about the roux or the stock, because that's what it should be. Should be about the roux and the stock and the roasting of that trinity to get you that color, but he's definitely added some stuff to it to give it that mahogany color.
I'm really excited about this one, if you guys can't already tell. Now let's try the normal one without the MSG butter. Oh, bless America. This is a perfect gumbo. I mean, many might have something to say, oh, he didn't.
Is it a perfect gumbo? I mean, I know what he's about to say. Many people are going to say this and that, and he's right. Because they should. Because this isn't a gumbo. This is a delicious seafood stew. A cioppino bouillon. I said it a number of times. It's not a gumbo.
Shut up. This is delicious. I've had many gumbos. Many of them are...
Granted, I'm sure it's delicious. Nobody's saying it's not delicious. I'm not going to shut up because this is my job. And it's okay to call you out on bullshit. And this is bullshit. Delicious bullshit, but bullshit.
B-roll.
I like the bass drop B-roll. I love this dude's edits. Not a fan of his gumbo. I'd eat that gumbo or cioppino, stew, whatever you call it. But I love the dude's edits, man. I mean, look, I think Josh and I should have a talk about this. Holla, dog. But maybe we can make a gumbo together. Maybe we can make it with all his ingredients, but I can make it a little more Louisiana or make it a little more traditional. I just get a little thrown off by all the extra ingredients that you don't need. You had beautiful seafood. You had beautiful homemade stock. You made the roux, good dark peanut butter roux. Let's see what else he's got to say. It's not over. He's still got some time left on this.
I already know people are going to be in the comments right now. Oh, he mixed land and sea. Oh my God, he didn't put freaking okra in here. I do what I want. So, sorry.
I do what I want. Hey, I'm going to read some of the comments right now. This is an insanely expensive wrestling, insanely insane. Josh is insane. We broke. How about a cheaper of your own recipe? Look, I'm from New Orleans and I approve of this video except the okra slander. The word gumbo translates to okra, so it's kind of essential to make real gumbo. You know, there's going to be a lot of people, especially from New Orleans, that say that. There's going to be a lot of Cajuns from other parts of Louisiana that say you do not need okra in your gumbo. There's sometimes I don't even put a roux in my gumbo, but I use okra instead. Anyways, as you can tell, there's a lot of different interpretations and recipes for gumbo. This is just one of the thousands and thousands of interpretations of gumbo. Overall, I liked the video. I was entertained. I laughed. I learned something from the edit. As far as the gumbo recipe goes, there's some things that I just can't live with. Mostly the Worcestershire sauce, then the tomatoes, although that's okay as some places do, but you don't need to put the Worcestershire sauce. You don't need to put that much Cajun seasoning in it. I just don't see that as really necessary. And most of all, if everything is made right, like I said, the roux, the stock, the sausage, the trinity, you should just need to better season with some salt and pepper. But overall, I commend Josh on making a delicious bowl of food. No doubt that's going to be delicious. Expensive, but delicious. And that is worth something. Well, guys, my name's Chef Jean-Paul. Again, this is your reaction video from Josh Weissman's The Perfect Gumbo. Stew, sauce, cioppino, bouillabaisse.